Have you ever wondered why a woman can love a man one day, respect him the next, and then suddenly feel distant, cold, or uninterested, even when he hasn't lied, cheated, or done anything wrong? It's not about money, looks, or charm. The danger lies in something far subtler, psychological, and almost invisible. Something most men don't even realize they're doing. Take Michael in New York City. He's charming, ambitious, intelligent, and he has a beautiful girlfriend named Emily. At first, everything seems perfect. They laugh, travel, and share moments that feel like a fairy tale. But over time, Michael begins making tiny, almost imperceptible mistakes. A dismissive comment here, ignoring a feeling there, subtle impatience when Emily expresses herself. Michael thinks he's being honest or practical, but what he's actually doing is committing the most dangerous offense a man can make in a woman's mind, and he's failing to hold emotional integrity while slowly undermining her sense of value. This isn't about control. It's not about manipulation. It's something deeper, an invisible betrayal of the unspoken contract of respect and emotional safety that women unconsciously place in the men they love. And once that contract is broken, attraction can vanish faster than most men ever realize. Point 1. Emotional neglect masquerading as honesty. The first trap many men fall into is believing that being honest automatically equates to being helpful. Men like Daniel in London pride themselves on being practical, direct, or brutally truthful. They think that offering solutions or pointing out flaws is a sign of care. But here's the subtle danger. Women don't measure a man's worth by his problem-solving skills. They measure it by his ability to hold space for their emotions without judgment. Take Daniel and his girlfriend Olivia. One evening, Olivia shared her anxieties about a project at work. Daniel, wanting to be honest, replied, "Stop worrying. It's not a big deal." To him, it was rational, a simple acknowledgement that the problem wasn't life-threatening. To Olivia, it felt dismissive. She felt unseen, unheard, and most importantly, unimportant. The emotional bond between them began to fray, silently, like water slowly eroding stone. This is the danger of emotional neglect. Unlike overt conflict, it doesn't leave visible scars. There are no arguments or dramatic fights. Instead, attraction subtly erodes because she senses her inner world doesn't matter to him. Respect fades, trust weakens, and the magnetic pull that once drew her in begins to disappear. The Stoics understood this instinctively. Epictetus reminded us that while we cannot control others, we can control our responses. A Stoic man doesn't react, defensively or dismissively, to every emotion a woman shares. Instead, he acknowledges it with calm, measured empathy. "I hear you. That must feel frustrating." Simple words, yet they communicate validation, security, and respect. Contrast this with extremes, men who overreact emotionally, or men who shut down completely. Both trigger fear and withdrawal. Women sense the inconsistency and start to doubt. Can I rely on him to honor my feelings? Repeatedly, this doubt turns into emotional detachment. Sarah in Toronto learned this the hard way. Her ex-boyfriend constantly brushed off her feelings. Over time, she withdrew emotionally and ultimately detached entirely. With her current partner, the difference was striking. He listened calmly, acknowledged her struggles without judgment, and maintained his own stability. She felt seen, valued, and more attracted than ever, simply because he practiced emotional integrity. The key takeaway: honesty without empathy destroys attraction. Validation delivered with consistency and authenticity builds it. By holding space for her feelings without losing yourself, you create a deep sense of security and desire that no amount of surface-level charm can replicate. Point 2. Overvalidation, chasing approval. The second attraction killer is overvalidation, the desperate need to be liked, to earn approval, to appear endlessly agreeable. At first it seems harmless, even romantic. Men like James and Sydney showered Emily with compliments, agreed with every opinion, and constantly sought reassurance. At first, Emily felt flattered. She enjoyed the attention, the adoration, the sense that he valued her so highly. But slowly, a different feeling emerged. Why? Because women, at a subconscious level, are drawn to strength, independence, and self-respect. Overvalidation signals the opposite: neediness and insecurity. James wasn't showing love, and he was showing dependence. "I need you to like me. I depend on your approval." No matter how charming he seemed on the surface, this undercurrent eroded respect and attraction. Compare this with Daniel in Manchester. He had opinions, maintained personal boundaries, and expressed himself authentically. He didn't bend constantly to win approval. The effect was magnetic. Emily felt admiration, respect, and even a subtle tension that made his presence compelling. His self-assuredness communicated intrinsic value, a psychological trigger of attraction far more powerful than compliments or flattery. This is where Stoicism intersects beautifully with psychology. A man who understands his own worth doesn't need constant validation. He stands on his principles, not her approval. Over-validation, in contrast, weakens authority, diminishes respect, and kills desire all at once. The paradox is fascinating. Less can be more, sparing, thoughtful. Authentic validation can increase attraction exponentially, while excessive validation broadcasts weakness and neediness. Women unconsciously sense strength and confidence, and no amount of charm, gifts, or effort can compensate for their absence. The strongest relationships are built on a foundation of self-respect and balance, not endless appeasement. The lesson is clear. Value yourself first. Speak honestly, act consistently, and let your confidence and integrity shine. Over-validation is a trap because it erodes the very thing women find most compelling: a man who stands firmly in his own worth while appreciating hers. Point 3. Betrayal of respect, the silent killer. The third, and perhaps most dangerous, mistake is what I call the silent betrayal of respect. It's not loud. It doesn't happen in one explosive argument. It happens quietly, through subtle interruptions, mocking comments, or moments of disregard that seem small, almost innocent. But over time, they poison everything. This betrayal isn't about cheating, lying, or breaking promises. It's more subtle and far more devastating. It's when a man prioritizes his ego over her dignity, when he interrupts her mid-sentence to prove a point, when he makes playful jokes at her expense in front of friends, when he brushes off her ideas because they challenge his own. To a man, this might feel harmless and even confident. But to a woman, it feels demeaning. Every condescending comment, every sarcastic jab, every eye roll is like a silent whisper saying, "You don't matter." And once a woman feels unseen or belittled, attraction begins to die in silence. Michael in Los Angeles learned this the hard way. He often joked about his girlfriend, calling her too sensitive or too emotional. She laughed at first, trying to brush it off. But deep down, something shifted. Her admiration turned into quiet resentment. What once felt like playful teasing began to feel like humiliation. She no longer looked at him with the same spark in her eyes. And that's the danger. Disrespect doesn't always end a relationship instantly. Sometimes the relationship continues, but the magnetism dies. No charm, wealth, or affection can resurrect attraction once respect has been buried. Women subconsciously evaluate men by one invisible standard: integrity expressed through respect. Respect doesn't mean agreeing with everything she says or becoming submissive. It means valuing her intelligence, emotions, and individuality without losing your own grounding. A Stoic man understands this balance. He doesn't dominate, nor does he dissolve. He honors her presence, listens before speaking, and chooses his words with intention. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." And a good man demonstrates that through consistent, quiet respect as not performance, not pretense, but genuine regard for her as an equal human being. Olivia in New York experienced both extremes. Her ex-boyfriend slowly stripped away her confidence with subtle mockery and constant correction. He didn't yell, but every word carried condescension. Attraction evaporated. Then she met someone different. A man who didn't need to outshine her to feel strong. He respected her opinions, valued her voice, and encouraged her independence. With him, attraction wasn't forced. It flourished naturally. The truth is simple yet brutal. Arrogance disguises itself as confidence, but it always kills desire. A woman might stay out of habit, obligation, or comfort, but she'll never crave a man she doesn't respect. Respect is the bedrock of attraction. Once it's cracked, everything else, passion, trust, intimacy, collapses with it. So the next time you speak, joke, or react, ask yourself, am I protecting her dignity or feeding my ego? Because the moment you choose ego, you begin losing her, and quietly, permanently, and without even realizing it. Point 4. Emotional inconsistency, the roller coaster trap. One of the most insidious ways men unknowingly destroy attraction is through emotional inconsistency. A man can be charming, loving, and attentive one day and distant, cold, or unavailable the next. At first, she may brush it off, thinking he's busy, stressed, or just human. But over time, this unpredictability erodes something far deeper than mere affection. It destroys her sense of emotional safety. Take Daniel and Sydney. On Monday, he showers Sarah with love and attention. On Tuesday, he barely responds to her texts and seems annoyed when she tries to connect. Sarah doesn't consciously register each shift, but her subconscious does. Her mind begins to measure, analyze, and anticipate his moods, creating anxiety and insecurity. The very feelings that once drew her to him, excitement, passion, and admiration, now begin to mingle with doubt and frustration. Women are wired to seek stability and reliability in men. Emotional unpredictability signals weakness, uncertainty, or lack of self-control, all traits that subconsciously decrease attraction. A Stoic man understands this principle intuitively. He doesn't become a puppet to every mood or external circumstance. His calm, consistent presence communicates strength without rigidity, care without neediness, and attention without dependence. Jessica, a professional in London, once dated a man whose moods fluctuated wildly. She described feeling constantly on edge, unsure whether she was loved or neglected. That relationship eventually crumbled, not because of any single fight or betrayal, but because emotional instability eroded trust and attraction. In contrast, her current partner maintains consistency. Even in disagreements or stressful times, he communicates calmly and reliably. Jessica feels safe, respected, and deeply attracted to him, precisely because he's predictable in his integrity, not in his personality alone. The lesson here is simple but profound. Women are drawn to men whose emotional state is steady, anchored in self-mastery, and predictable in respect and attention. Volatility may create temporary excitement, but it destroys long-term attraction. The ultimate danger of inconsistency is not in a single cold shoulder or distant day. It's in the cumulative erosion of safety, respect, and desire. Point 5. Manipulation disguised as love. Perhaps the most dangerous mistake of all is manipulation disguised as care or affection. Many men believe that guiding, persuading, or correcting a woman's behavior is harmless, even loving. But subtle control, guilt-tripping, or bending her decisions to suit his preferences erodes attraction in ways men rarely see coming. James in Toronto thought he was being thoughtful by asking his girlfriend to skip plans with friends to spend more time together. To him, it was love. To her, it was a violation of her autonomy. Small acts of manipulation repeated over time communicate, "I value my needs over yours," or worse, "I don't fully trust you to make the right decisions." Women are wired to detect this at a subconscious level. Once they sense manipulation, their respect and desire begin to shrink, even if they can't articulate why. This is where Stoicism offers a powerful framework. A Stoic man doesn't seek to control outcomes or her choices. He leads through presence, integrity, and calm influence rather than coercion. By respecting her independence, honoring her decisions, and offering guidance only when asked, he builds trust and deep attraction. Consider Emily in New York. Her ex-partner subtly manipulated her choices under the guise of helping her. She felt frustrated, unheard, and eventually emotionally detached. But her current partner treats her as an equal, respects her decisions, and communicates openly without coercion. Emily reports feeling deeply attracted and secure, a result of integrity, not manipulation. The lesson is clear. Manipulation, even subtle, is fatal to respect and attraction. Authenticity, respect for independence, and emotional integrity create desire. Control, coercion, and manipulation destroy it. Men who fail to grasp this unknowingly commit the most dangerous offense, undermining the very foundation of love and desire a woman feels. Point 6. Ignoring her growth and independence. One of the most dangerous mistakes a man can make, often without realizing it, is undermining a woman's independence and growth. Many men confuse love with control, thinking that a relationship requires her to revolve around them. But in reality, women are deeply attracted to men who respect their ambitions, celebrate their victories, and allow them to flourish. Anything less signals insecurity, and that quietly erodes attraction. Take Michael in Los Angeles. He loved his girlfriend, but he feared losing time with her to her career ambitions. When she expressed excitement about a promotion, he downplayed it, subtly suggesting that it might interfere with their time together. At first, she complied out of love, but deep inside, resentment began to grow. Every time she tried to assert her independence, she felt a subtle pushback. She wasn't being controlled overtly. It was far more dangerous. Her sense of value and self-worth was being undermined slowly but steadily. Contrast this with Daniel and Sydney. His girlfriend, Olivia, pursued her career goals and personal passions, and Daniel supported her every step of the way. When she landed a major promotion, he celebrated her success genuinely, showing pride without jealousy or fear. This validation, combined with his own self-assured independence, amplified attraction and deepened respect. Olivia felt not only loved but also empowered, secure, and drawn to him. The psychology is simple yet profound. Women unconsciously associate their personal growth with the value of a partner. If a man supports and encourages growth, he becomes a source of stability, admiration, and attraction. If he subtly hinders it, through fear, jealousy, or controlling behavior, he signals weakness, insecurity, and a lack of emotional maturity. That invisible signal is far more damaging than outright neglect. Stoicism teaches men to focus on what is within their power and let go of what isn't. You cannot control her career, ambitions, or life decisions. What you can control is your response, your support, respect, and encouragement. A Stoic man derives confidence from self-mastery, not from limiting her freedom. And paradoxically, the more you allow her to grow, the stronger your bond and attraction become. This is the essence of modern female psychology. Independence is magnetic, but undermining it is lethal. Support her growth, celebrate her wins, and stand firmly in your own value, and you will become irresistible without trying. Point 7. The ultimate danger, breaking her sense of safety. All the mistakes we've discussed, neglecting emotions, over-validating, betraying respect, emotional inconsistency, manipulation, and undermining independence ultimately lead to the ultimate danger, destroying her sense of safety. Women are wired to seek security, emotional, psychological, and intellectual. Safety isn't about physical protection alone. It's about feeling seen, valued, and respected. When a man violates that sense of safety, attraction collapses, often silently. She may stay in the relationship, but the spark, desire, and connection slowly wither. Take Jessica in London. Her boyfriend frequently dismissed her feelings, made subtle jokes at her expense, and occasionally manipulated her choices for her own good. Over time, she no longer felt safe being vulnerable with him. She stopped sharing her thoughts. Her laughter became less genuine, and her emotional investment dwindled. Despite appearances, the relationship was dying because safety had been compromised. Contrast this with Michael in New York. He maintained consistency, validated her emotions, respected boundaries, encouraged independence, and never manipulated. Jessica felt secure in expressing herself completely. She could be vulnerable, ambitious, or emotional without fear of judgment or control. That safety wasn't boring, it was magnetic. It created deep trust, loyalty, and, most importantly, attraction. From a psychological perspective, safety underpins desire. Women unconsciously scan every interaction for subtle threats to trust, respect, or autonomy. Emotional neglect, over-validation, disrespect, manipulation, or control all trigger alarms in her subconscious mind. Once triggered repeatedly, her emotional attraction collapses, regardless of how much she wants to love you consciously. Stoic wisdom is crucial here. A Stoic man's calm, consistent presence, integrity, and respect for autonomy creates an unshakable foundation of safety. He doesn't overreact, manipulate, or control. He holds himself accountable, maintains his boundaries, and honors hers. In doing so, he becomes a stable, magnetic presence. A man, a woman feels safe loving, desiring, and trusting. The ultimate danger is invisible, yet it destroys attraction faster than any overt betrayal. Protect her sense of safety, honor her value, and respect her autonomy, and you will never lose her trust, desire, or respect. Conclusion. So what's the takeaway? The most dangerous thing a man can do to a woman is not cheat, not neglect, not even lie. It's subtly destroy respect, emotional safety, and her sense of value. It's the slow erosion of the invisible contract of trust and admiration that keeps attraction alive. To avoid this, listen without dismissing, validate without overpleasing, respect her intellect, feelings, and independence, Remain consistent, stable, and authentic. Never manipulate or undermine her growth. Do this and you don't just maintain attraction, you amplify it. Women sense integrity, strength, and respect on a level that is almost magnetic. Remember, attraction is not about effort, gifts, or attention. It's about presence, respect, and psychological safety. Mess this up once and the damage may last a lifetime. Master it and you become irresistible. With that said, thanks for watching and until next time.